Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are strapping in for a pretty high-stakes investigation. How to safely share the road with heavy trucks.
It's a big one.
It is. If you've spent any time on the highway, you know that feeling. Driving near a big rig just feels fundamentally different than being in normal traffic. The physics, the scale, everything is bigger.
That's absolutely right. And our sources make it clear, it's not just about defensive driving. It requires a strategic mindset. So our mission today is really to pull out those critical life-saving nuggets of information.
The stuff that lets you anticipate what they're going to do.
Exactly. Understand the huge forces they're managing second by second.
Yeah, we really want to arm you with the practical knowledge. We're talking about those massive blind spots, the no zones, and the physics of why they need the length of 2 football fields to come to a stop.
Right. We'll get into the mechanics of that, the geometry of how they turn, which is often a surprise for people.
It can be terrifying.
It can. We'll even touch on the less predictable dangers, like cargo, and what the drivers themselves are up against. So let's start with the absolute fundamental difference: mass.
Okay, let's unpack this. Why do trucks need so much more real estate to, operate?
Well, it really just comes down to inertia and momentum. Your car, for instance, is probably around 3, maybe 4,000 pounds.
About that, yeah.
But the sources confirm that a fully loaded Class 8 semi can be pushing 80,000 pounds.
80,000, it's a staggering number. That's 20 times the weight of a sedan.
It is. And that isn't just dead weight, that's inertia. It's the tendency of that massive object to keep moving no matter what.
And momentum is mass times velocity, so the faster that 80,000-pound object is going,
the more force it takes to stop it, exponentially more. And that brings us to their braking systems, which are very different from what's in your car.
Right. Most trucks use air brakes. I've heard the term brake lag. What is
Uh-huh.
that exactly?
Brake lag is a crucial factor. So when the driver hits the brake pedal, there's a slight delay. It's maybe just a fraction of a second.
But at highway speeds, a fraction of a second is a long way.
That's the key. At 65 miles per hour, you're covering almost 100 feet every single second. So that tiny lag, while compressed air, travels through the lines to actually apply the brakes.
The truck has already traveled a huge distance before it even starts slowing down.
Precisely. And that's before you even account for driver reaction time. Then you have other issues, especially under stress, like on a long downhill road.
You mean brake fade?
Exactly. Brake fade.
Yeah.
Heavy, continuous braking generates an incredible amount of heat. If those brake components get too hot, they lose their ability to create friction. Their efficiency drops off a cliff.
So let's put this into perspective. What's the number people need to remember? The comparison at highway speed?
At 65 miles per hour, your car might stop in, say, 300 feet. A heavy truck, depending on the load, the road, the weather, it can need 600 feet.
2 football fields.
2 football fields. Maybe more. And the takeaway there is just, it's non-negotiable. You never, ever cut closely in front of a heavy truck. If you slip into that space, you have stolen their only safety margin.
Okay, so they need a massive amount of space to stop. Now, for the other part of the equation, even if they have the space, can they even see you?
And the answer, so often, is no.
We're talking about the no zones, the blind spots.
Right. And that rule of thumb is famous for a reason. If you can't see the driver's face in their side mirror, they can't see you. It's a combination of the cab being so high up and the limited view from those big mirrors.
So let's break them down. There are 4 main ones, and let's start, maybe counterintuitively, right in the front.
Yeah, the front blind spot is a big one people forget. The driver sits so high they can't see the road for about 10 to 20 feet directly in front of the cab.
Which is incredibly dangerous at a stoplight or in slow, heavy traffic.
Hugely. If you pull right up in front of them, you've vanished. Then you have the rear blind spot, which is pretty obvious. It extends 30 feet or more right behind the trailer.
That's why tailgating a truck is it's a terrible idea.
A terrible idea. You're invisible, and you're in the direct path of any potential cargo hazard.
Okay, so the sides. The left side, the driver's side, is a bit better, right?
It's smaller, yes, but it's still there. The key advice is don't linger. If you're going to pass quickly and safely. Don't cruise alongside them.
Because the real danger zone is on the other side.
The right side blind spot, this is the big one. Some people call it the kill zone. It runs the entire length of the truck and can stretch out across multiple lanes to the right.
Why is it so much worse on that side?
The driver's just so much farther away from it. To see anything over there, they'd have to physically turn their whole body. If you're driving in that space, especially up near the cab, you are collectively invisible.
Okay, so let's connect that geometry to movement, to turns.
This is where things get really tricky. For a truck to make a sharp right turn, an inside turn, the driver first has to swing the cab wide to the left,
To the next lane sometimes.
often into the next lane, yeah. They have to do that so the trailer wheels don't jump the curb.
And the opposite happens on an outside turn. That's the overhang risk.
The overhang, yeah. That's the part of the trailer that sticks out behind the rear wheels. When the truck turns, that overhang swings out in the opposite direction.
So the back end of the trailer can swing right into your lane, even if the wheels are clear.
Precisely. The sources are very clear on this. Never, ever sit in the outside lane next to a turning truck. You have to give them that space. You yield.
All right, so we've covered the truck itself. What it's carrying, that's a whole other category of unpredictable danger.
Yep.
Load loss.
It's surprisingly varied. You have the obvious risk of things, falling or dragging, a big, heavy item that breaks loose from a strap or a chain.
Creating instant, massive debris on the road.
Exactly. But then you have things becoming airborne.
Which seems strange for heavy objects.
It's all about aerodynamics. A big flat object like a piece of plywood or even a tarp that isn't perfectly secured can act like a wing at highway speeds. The air gets under it and just lifts it right off the truck. It becomes a projectile.
Wow. And then you have loads that are unstable by their very nature, like liquids in a tanker.
Yeah, the physics of slosh is a huge deal. Even with baffles inside the tank, that liquid moves. When the driver brakes or turns, all that weight surges, and it can dramatically shift the truck's center of gravity.
Making it much more likely to roll over.
Or forcing the driver to overcorrect, which
Right.
creates instability for everyone. Then you just have protruding loads, long pipes or beams that stick out past the end of the trailer.
Where you can easily misjudge the length when you're passing.
Right. The safety tip is simple. If you can, just don't travel directly behind a truck for long periods. And if you have to, leave a much, much bigger gap than you normally would.
And it's not just the cargo, it's the wheels themselves.
A tire blowout on a truck is, it's explosive. First, you have shrapnel bits of rubber and steel flying everywhere. But the bigger danger is the loss of control. The truck can suddenly swerve into your lane.
I've also seen them kick up rocks and things from the road.
The kick-up hazard, yeah, their tires are like giant paddles for road debris. It's why you want to give them a wide berth, even when they're coming toward you in the opposite lane.
And finally, the really scary one, a wheel actually coming off.
It's rare, but it happens. That wheel and tire assembly is incredibly heavy, and if it detaches, it's a bouncing missile with tremendous force. It just reinforces the need to respect their entire footprint on the road.
So let's shift now from the physics to the practical. What do you do when a truck is actively moving into your space?
Right. Let's take scenario A. A truck signals and starts to merge into your lane. What's the plan?
Okay, first step is stay calm, see the signal. You really have two choices. Either speed up a little to safely get past them before they merge, or
You slow down and let them in ahead of you. The key is to be predictable. And, crucially, you might have to yield even if you have the right of way.
that's a big one. It's not about being polite, it's about physics.
It's pure self-preservation. You can't win a fight against an 80,000-pound vehicle that can't see you and can't stop quickly. Giving up 2 seconds of your time to ensure your safety is always the right choice.
And what if they keep coming over? They clearly haven't seen you.
A quick tap of the horn, not a long, angry blast, just a short beep, an alert. The moment they react, you make your move, slow down, get out of the way.
Okay, scenario B. This is maybe the most stressful one. A truck is tailgating you.
They're right on your bumper, and you know they need 600 feet to stop. It's incredibly dangerous.
First rule has to be de-escalation. No brake checking, no aggressive moves.
Absolutely not. Maintain your composure. Your first move is to create space in front of you. Back off from the car ahead of you. Give yourself a bigger cushion.
So if traffic does slow down, you can brake more gradually and give the truck driver behind you more time to react.
Exactly. But if they keep riding your tail, your main goal is to get out of their way.
Move over, change lanes and let them pass.
And if you can't, if you're in a single lane or heavy traffic, pull over if it's safe. Use an exit ramp, a rest area, whatever. Let them go. You're not losing a race. You're eliminating a massive risk.
Signaling your intentions is key too. Some sources even mention a quick flash of the hazard lights to say, hey, I see you and I'm trying to resolve this safely.
It's all about clear, calm communication.
You know, to really understand this, I think we have to look at the driver's perspective. The person in that cab is under an incredible amount of pressure.
Immense pressure. And those internal pressures directly impact road safety for all of us.
So what are the biggest dangers they face, according to the sources?
Fatigue and health are at the top of the list. Despite all the regulations, it's a job that involves long, monotonous hours. Fatigue just destroys reaction time.
Which they have none to spare.
None. And then there are the long-term health risks. It's a very sedentary job. The food options on the road aren't great, and things like sleep apnea are really common.
So their physical health has a direct bearing on our safety.
It does. And you add the psychological toll to that, isolation and stress. They're on tight schedules, dealing with traffic, bad weather, all while being away from their families for long stretches.
That has to affect their decision-making?
It can lead to less cautious behavior, for sure. And that's before you even get to other things, like the physical hazards of loading and unloading, the constant risk of equipment failure like a blowout, or even security risks at remote rest stops.
It paints a picture of a really demanding high-stakes job.
It should. And it should, hopefully, make us more patient drivers. When you see a truck making a slow turn or an awkward move, just remember everything the driver is juggling. Our job is to be predictable and give them the room they need to do their dangerous job safely.
This has been a really critical deep dive, and if we boil it all down, the core theme is it's all about space.
It is entirely about space. Space to stop over 600 feet. Space from their nose zone so they can see you. And space for them to make those wide, sweeping turns.
Understanding the physics and the geometry of their world makes you a smarter, safer driver.
You're not just reacting anymore, you're anticipating. You see the road through their eyes a little bit.
Right. And, we've focused heavily on the immediate on-the-road hazards today, but the sources also pointed to a much broader perspective.
Yeah, this was interesting. Beyond the risk of a crash, you have to consider the environmental impact. Heavy trucks contribute disproportionately to air pollution, especially in cities, and also to noise pollution.
So there's a bigger question here. What are the long-term implications for public health and for our infrastructure, the wear and tear on the roads, when you consider the sheer scale of all this commercial traffic?
It's a huge question, and it's something to think about the next time you hear that roar of a diesel engine on the highway.
Please like, subscribe, and get notified.